High eviction rates, coupled with the fact that Oklahoma is 70,000 units short of being able to house everyone affordably, means it can be tough to live in the Sooner State. A new report by a law student who watched hundreds of eviction proceedings firsthand is shedding light on gaps in the system. 2 News Oklahoma's Jeanette Quesada is digging into that report for us tonight. Jeanette?
Karen, Adam Hines says sitting in more than 500 eviction court cases was an eye-opening experience, an experience he wrote about in this 24-page report. From geographic inequalities to lack of due process, he says the system and the people who run it are overburned.
Seeing the eviction docket in Tulsa last summer really shook me.
As a law student with a passion for equity in the justice system, Adam Hines says when it comes to fair housing, he found very little unusable data to help inform his studies. So he took it upon himself to gather the data.
I knew that if you wanted to make real policy suggestions at the state level, you'd need better data statewide, and I wanted to find a way to get to it.
As an intern with the Oklahoma Access to Justice Foundation, he spent this summer traveling to 8 different counties across the state, sitting in more than 510 different eviction court hearings.
And what was so devastating is you watch someone gather themselves, get up, get their papers together and walk as confidently as they can up to the podium to talk to the judge. And then the judge looks at them, asks them 2 questions, possession is granted, and kind of sends them out the door. And they try to protest, and they're like, no, you don't get any more time.
Hines says the anger, frustration, and hurt among many tenants was evident in their face as they walked out of the courtroom without being heard.
One of the foundational core parts of due process is the opportunity to be heard, just to have a judge, an impartial decision maker, listen to you and feel heard. And just the act of feeling heard is so essential to people's perceived legitimacy of the courtroom. And when people don't feel like they've been heard, they're not going to believe in these systems or these institutions anymore.
Hines says judges aren't often given much of a choice in the process either. He says he observed some judges handle massive caseloads, sometimes of hundreds of cases a day.
The root of the problem is a lack of funding and judicial resources that starts, with the state legislature.
And this report dives into multiple issues: why evictions happen more often in some places and within some communities, how large corporate landlords can get different outcomes than small landlords, and why the law might be applied inconsistently depending on the county. It also offers some solutions. You can read that full report on KGRH.com. Live in studio, Jeanette Quesada, 2 News Oklahoma.